The air in your lungs feels heavy, not with the crisp frost of the mountain peaks, but with the stagnant humidity of a life lived entirely indoors. Look at your hands. They are soft, unscarred, strangers to the rough texture of granite or the vibrating sting of a sword hilt meeting bone. You have been told that this is progress. You've been told that the elimination of hardship is the ultimate victory of our species, a triumph of the mind over the tooth and claw of nature. But as you sit in the artificial glow of a flickering screen, a hollow ache gnaws at your marrow. It is the ghost of an ancestor you've forgotten, a man who didn't need a digital ritual to find meaning because his meaning was written in the sweat of his brow and the blood of his enemies. We live in an age of silken chains. We are the most connected generation in history, yet we are the most fragile, drifting through a sea of noise without an anchor. You think you are free because you have 1,000 choices at your fingertips, but those choices are merely different flavors of distraction.
Robert E. Howard,
the creator of Conan, understood a truth we've buried under layers of convenience. Civilization is unnatural. It is a thin crust of ice over a dark, churning ocean of primal reality. Beneath your tailored clothes and polite smiles, there is a warrior being suffocated by the very comfort you were taught to crave. Most will scroll past this, seeking the next hit of dopamine to numb the quiet desperation of their existence. But if you feel like a stranger in this sanitized world, if the weight of modern expectations feels like a yoke rather than a purpose, then listen closely. Before the fire dies down, we will strip away the lies of the modern age. You will understand the riddle of steel, a secret that has nothing to do with metal and everything to do with the iron in your soul that you have allowed to rust. Picture a land where the sun is a myth, hidden behind a permanent shroud of leaden clouds, a place of hills and woods where the very air tastes of iron and damp earth. This is Cimmeria. It is the crucible that forged Conan. He did not grow up debating the nuances of comfort or seeking the approval of a faceless crowd. His reality was defined by the weight of a sword and the biting cold of a mountain wind that didn't care if he lived or died. To the barbarian, life is a series of obstacles to be overcome, not a series of pleasures to be curated. Contrast this with the modern landscape. We have replaced the mountain with the ergonomic chair and the hunt with the glowing screen. We are told that safety is the highest virtue, yet we have never felt more insecure. Why? Because the modern man has been stripped of his agency. He is a passenger in his own life, coddled by systems that thrive on his dependency. When every need is met with the touch of a button, the internal muscles of the soul begin to atrophy. We have traded our wildness for a leash, and we call it sophistication. Conan represents a philosophy that predates the written word, a stoicism of the blood. He doesn't complain to the gods for his misfortune. He knows Crom does not listen. He knows that his only true possession is the strength of his own arm and the clarity of his own mind. We look at him and see a brute, but in doing so, we ignore the terrifying truth. He is more alive than we are. He possesses a clarity of purpose that we have drowned in a sea of trivialities. But do not think this is merely a call to return to the woods. The weakness you feel isn't in your muscles. It's in the architecture of your spirit. The first step to rebuilding that fortress starts with understanding why your ancestors feared the very comfort you now worship. In the sprawling cities of the Hyborian Age, places like Zamora or Aquilonia, Conan saw men who were soft, perfumed, and utterly hollow. They lived behind high walls, surrounded by gold and silk, yet they were slaves to their own desires. They feared the dark, they feared the wind, and most of all, they feared the reality of their own reflection. This is where the modern man finds himself today. We have built our own digital Zamoras, fortresses of convenience, where we can pretend that the law of the jungle has been repealed. But the law is never repealed. It is only forgotten, lying dormant beneath the pavement, waiting for the first crack to show. Civilization, as Conan perceived it, is a mask of courtesy covering a face of primal greed. It promises security, but delivers a slow, creeping stagnation. When you no longer have to fight for your place in the world or defend your honor with your own hands, your mind begins to invent phantom enemies. You worry about social standing, about the opinions of people you don't even like, and about the stress of a life where your greatest physical exertion is walking from a climate-controlled room to a padded seat. This is the mental rot. This is why you feel anxious in a world of abundance. Your biology is screaming for a challenge, for a mountain to climb or a beast to slay, but you are feeding it only sugar and noise. The Stoic knows that we should never be surprised by the brutality of life. A warrior expects the storm. A weak man curses the rain. Ask yourself, if the lights went out and the polished systems of our age ceased to function tomorrow, who would you be? Would you be the man who can navigate the dark with a calm heart? Or would you be the one begging for a savior who isn't coming? Those who recognize the fragility of our modern shell are the only ones capable of surviving its inevitable cracks. We are not just talking about survival, we are talking about the reclamation of your identity. Do you belong to the world of shadows, or do you belong to yourself? There is an old question that haunts the winds of the Cimmerian plains, a question whispered by kings and beggars alike. What is the riddle of steel? To the uninitiated, it sounds like a puzzle of metallurgy, a secret of carbon and heat. But Conan knew better. He knew that steel is nothing without the hand that wields it. If you have the finest blade in the world but a heart made of water, the metal is merely a heavy ornament, a burden rather than a tool. Modernity has given you the finest blades imaginable, unmatched technology, endless information, and weapons of convenience. But it has left your spirit soft and brittle like untempered iron. Look at how we seek solutions today. We want a pill for our sadness, a hack for our productivity, and a screen to tell us who we should be. We have outsourced our will to algorithms and experts. This is the ultimate betrayal of the warrior spirit. A barbarian doesn't ask for the path to be cleared. He asks for his legs to be strong enough to walk it. When you avoid every discomfort, you are effectively throwing your steel into the fire and never taking it out to be hammered. You remain molten, shapeless, and useless for when the strike finally comes. Those who understand this are a dying breed, a tribe of shadows in a world of neon. You might feel like an outcast because you hunger for something more than a comfortable cubicle or a digital ritual. That hunger is your compass. It is the part of you that refuses to be tamed, the part that knows that flesh is stronger than steel only when it has been tested by the anvil of reality. We are moving toward a revelation that most are too terrified to face, a truth about what happens when the civilized man finally meets the wolf at his door. If you recognize that the iron in your blood is more important than the gold in your pocket, then you are already standing on the edge of a transformation that this soft world cannot comprehend. In the shadowed alleys of Shadizar, the city of wickedness, there is a scent that lingers in the air, the cloying, sweet aroma of the black lotus. It is a flower that promises dreams, but delivers only a slow, parasitic death. Those who breathe its fumes find their ambitions dissolving into a warm, golden haze. They no longer care for the sting of the wind or the weight of the axe. They only care for the next vision, the next moment of unearned bliss. Look around you today. The black lotus is no longer a rare bloom found in the jungles of Kitai. It is the very fabric of your digital existence. Every notification, every mindless scroll through a stream of curated lies, every hour lost to the hollow ecstasy of a screen. This is your lotus juice. It is designed to keep you docile, to ensure that the fire in your belly never grows beyond a flickering ember. The modern world does not want you to be a warrior, It wants you to be a consumer, a soft, predictable unit of energy that never questions the walls of its cage. This is the most insidious form of slavery because the chains are invisible, forged from your own dopamine and desires. A barbarian knows that a full belly and a soft bed are the enemies of vigilance. Conan never stayed in the palaces of kings for long. The smell of incense made his head swim and his sword arm heavy. He knew that the moment a man becomes too comfortable, he becomes prey. You feel this, don't you? That heavy fog in your mind, the feeling that you are drifting through life instead of charging through it. That is the paralysis of the lotus. But there is a way to break the fever. It requires a brutal honesty that most are too cowardly to employ. A confrontation with the predator that still lives in the dark corners of your DNA, waiting for you to remember your name. Crom is a grim god. He lives atop a mountain of ice and cloud, and he does not care for the plight of men. If you pray to him, he does not listen. If you die, he does not weep. He gives a man courage and the breath of life when he is born, and then he turns his back. This is the ultimate Stoic truth that the modern world has tried to hide from you behind a veil of safety nets and hollow promises. We have been conditioned to believe that someone, or something, is always supposed to help us. We believe that if we shout loud enough, if we complain enough about the unfairness of the stars, the universe will somehow bend to our comfort. But the universe is indifferent. The barbarian understands this in his marrow. He doesn't waste his breath cursing the gods for a storm or a broken blade. He knows that his life is his own burden to carry. Modern mental weakness stems from this very denial of reality. The refusal to accept that you are the sole architect of your fate. We seek validation from digital ghosts, hoping that their approval will fill the void where our self-respect should be. We have become beggars of spirit, wandering through a neon wasteland, asking for permission to exist, for permission to be strong, for permission to lead. Conan did not seek permission. He took what he needed. He fought when he had to. And he stood tall, even when the sky was falling. He knew that the only thing that truly belongs to a man is his will. Everything else, gold, women, kingdoms, is fleeting, like mist on the morning moors. If you want to reclaim your mind, you must first reclaim your silence. You must stop looking for a savior and start looking at the tools you already possess. The strength you seek isn't something to be found. It is something to be revealed by stripping away the layers of dependency you've allowed to grow over your soul. Those who can stand in the wind without shivering are the only ones fit to survive the winter that is always coming. The skin of a modern man is a blank parchment, unmarred and unread. We have sanitized our existence to the point of sterility, treating every scratch, every bruise, and every moment of emotional friction as a catastrophe to be avoided. In the Hyborian age, a man's history was written in his scars. Each jagged line across his chest or notch in his shield was a lesson he had paid for in blood, a testament that he had faced the abyss and refused to blink. To the barbarian, pain is not an enemy. It is the most honest teacher in the world. It tells you where you are weak, where you are slow, and where you have been arrogant. Contrast this with our current culture of safety. We have created worlds within worlds where no one's feelings are hurt and no one's limits are tested. We live in a state of perpetual adolescence, shielded from the harsh realities of the natural order. We think we are enlightened because we have replaced the sword with the keyboard, but we have merely replaced physical courage with a cowardly, distant noise. When you avoid all pain, you also avoid all growth. You become a hollow shell, brittle and easily shattered by the first real gust of misfortune. Conan walked through the ruins of empires and saw that the most civilized men were the ones who broke the fastest when the walls came down. They had plenty of theories about the world, but no skin in the game. They were experts in shadows, but strangers to the sun. This is the great trap of your era. You are drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. Wisdom is not found in a scroll or a stream of data. It is forged in the fire of direct experience. It is the quiet confidence of a man who knows he can survive because he already has. As we move deeper into the dark, you must decide if you will remain a pristine page, or if you will finally allow life to write something meaningful upon your soul. Conan did not ascend to the throne of Aquilonia through the grace of blood or the favor of a dying king. He strangled the old world with his bare hands and placed the crown upon his own brow, a king by his own hand. This is the ultimate expression of sovereignty, a concept that has become almost alien to the modern man. Today, you are taught to be a team player, to seek consensus, and to wait for your turn in a line that never ends. You have been conditioned to look upward for guidance, to wait for a supervisor, a government, or a social trend to tell you it is okay to move forward. You are a member of a herd, and the herd is always headed toward the slaughterhouse of mediocrity. True mental strength is the ability to stand alone in the center of a storm and remain unmoved by the opinions of the fearful. The barbarian does not need a committee to validate his path. He knows that his instinct is the oldest voice in the world, a voice that speaks of survival and triumph. In our age, this instinct is called toxic or dangerous, because a man who cannot be controlled is a threat to the stability of a soft society. They want you predictable. They want you manageable. They want you to fear your own shadow so that you will never notice the chains they've wrapped around your spirit. This path, the path of the iron-willed, is not for everyone. It is not for the man who finds comfort in his own excuses, or the one who seeks the warmth of the crowd. This is for the remnant. This is for the few who still feel the thrum of wild blood beneath their skin and realize that they have been living a lie. If you are here, it is because you recognize that the throne of your own life is currently empty, occupied by ghosts and distractions. You are part of a tribe that refuses to let the fire go out. We are the ones who understand that before you can rule a kingdom, you must first become the absolute master of the beast that lives within your own chest. The modern world is a mirror that reflects only what it wants you to see, a distorted image of a man who has forgotten his origin. You are surrounded by 1,000 voices telling you who to be, what to buy, and how to feel, until your own internal compass is spinning wildly, lost in a storm of noise. But deep within the silence of your own mind, beneath the layers of polite conversation and social performance, there is a Cimmerian waiting. He is the part of you that doesn't care about the trends of the season or the approval of the digital mob. He is the part of you that knows that life, at its core, is a test of endurance and a struggle for meaning. This is the internal battleground. The barbarian doesn't just fight monsters in the dark. He fights the impulse to give up when the road is long and the fire is low. Modern mental weakness is the surrender to the path of least resistance. It is the choice to eat the poisoned fruit of convenience rather than the bitter root of discipline. We have become a culture of victims, always looking for someone to blame for our own lack of resolve. But the warrior knows that blame is a shackle. Responsibility is the only true freedom. When you accept that you are the master of your own suffering, you also become the master of your own power. Can you feel it? That spark of recognition. It's the realization that you are more than the sum of your comforts. You are the descendant of people who looked at a frozen, hostile world and refused to die. You carry their fire in your blood, though it has been dampened by the drizzle of 1,000 trivialities. Those who feel this resonance are not just viewers. You are the remnant of an older order. We are the ones who refuse to let the inner flame be smothered by the ash of a dying civilization. The time for observation is ending. The time for the forge is here. Look around you, not at the physical world of glass and steel, but at the invisible brotherhood of those who have stood by your side through this journey into the dark. You are not alone in your hunger for a more visceral reality, though the world would have you believe you are a relic of a forgotten age. This is not a gathering of the faint-hearted or those seeking the easy comfort of a hollow promise. This is a gathering of the sentinels, those who have felt the soft rot of the modern age and decided to cut it out like a gangrenous wound. We are the ones who understand that strength is not a destination, but a relentless state of being, a constant sharpening of the blade against the unforgiving whetstone of existence. This space, this philosophy, is built for those who find no peace in the stagnant silence of the cemetery we call progress. It is for the man who would rather be a wolf in the freezing wind than a well-fed dog by a dying hearth. If these words stir something ancient and tectonic in your gut, if you recognize the iron in your own blood while others see only water, then you have already found your kin. We are the tribe that refuses to be tamed, the ones who see the encroaching shadows of a collapsing culture, not with fear, but with the cold, quiet anticipation of a warrior who knows his time has finally come to prove his worth. Do not mistake this for a mere choice of entertainment. This is a declaration of identity. To stand with us is to reject the lotus and embrace the weight of the sword. It is to choose the struggle over the sedation. We are moving toward the final revelation, the moment where the mist clears and the riddle of steel is finally answered in full. If you feel the call of the wild blood, stay close to the fire. The end of the old world is the beginning of your own kingdom, and the final secret is about to be forged in the heat of your own resolve. The embers are dying now, the orange glow fading into the cold, grey ash of reality. You are standing at the threshold of two worlds, the one that wants to keep you sedated, and the one that demands you awaken. The riddle of steel is no longer a mystery. The secret isn't in the metal, it is in the hand that wields it. Steel is brittle. It can be shattered or melted, but the will is a force that can endure the fire and emerge harder than before. Your mental weakness is not a permanent state. It is a layer of rust that can be scraped away with the abrasive stone of discipline and the heat of a singular purpose. Flesh is stronger than steel because it has the power to choose, to suffer, and to overcome. Go forth from this place, but do not leave the barbarian behind. Carry him into your sterile offices, into your quiet homes, and into the face of every challenge that seeks to break your spirit. This is not a call to mindless violence, but a call to absolute sovereignty. Be the man who can stand alone, who can provide for his own, and who refuses to bow to the hollow idols of a decaying age. You have found your tribe here, the few who still hear the howl of the ancient winds and the call of the wild blood. This is where we gather to forge our spirits, far from the suffocating noise of the masses. But the path does not end with these words. We have only begun to dismantle the lies that have kept you in chains. In our next encounter, we will delve deeper into the specific rituals of the warrior, the ways to sharpen the spirit when the world around you is blunt and soft. If you are one of us, if you are ready to claim the throne of your own life, then stay vigilant. The storm is coming, and only those with iron in their souls will be left standing when the sun finally rises over the ruins of the modern world. Until then, keep your blade sharp and your heart cold to the lotus's call.